We all see Tom Cruise doing those insane Mission Impossible stunts,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Hanging off planes, jumping between buildings. It's wild.
Totally wild. But do you ever stop and think, what's actually powering all that?
It's a fair question. You assume some super strict high-tech diet, maybe?
Exactly. But get this, for the latest movie, it seems his fuel is, well, surprisingly old school. We're
Whoa.
talking massive English breakfasts.
Really? Like a proper full English. Not the kind of kale smoothie situation you might expect.
Nope. Forget the usual Hollywood health kicks for a second.
Fascinating, though. I mean, the sheer energy output for those stunts is enormous.
Right. It seems almost, I don't know, counterintuitive.
Yeah.
But clearly it's working for him.
Well, it must be providing the fuel he needs for that very specific, very high level of performance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into what actually keeps Tom Cruise going through these Mission Impossible scenes. We've got a couple of online articles here, both dropped yesterday, May 8th, 2025. One's from Daily Mail Online, the other from The Mirror. And they're both spilling the beans on Cruise's, let's say, unexpected eating habits.
Got it.
So our mission today, if you will, is to kind of unpack the nutritional side of extreme stunts and see how Cruise's diet fits into his whole career and, lifestyle.
Makes sense. Understanding the why behind the what.
Okay, let's get into it then. What does a massive English breakfast actually look like for Tom Cruise?
Right. So according to these reports, Cruise himself said he's been eating these massive English breakfasts to get through the really intense training and filming.
And massive means.
Well, they're not kidding. He specifically mentioned eating more than 10 eggs, sometimes almost a dozen eggs.
Whoa, almost a dozen.
Yeah. And that's alongside the classics, sausage, bacon, toast, plus coffee and lots of fluids.
Wow, that's a serious amount of food,
Yeah.
especially the eggs. That's a huge protein and fat hit.
It really is.
Did he say why? I mean, there must be a reason beyond just liking fried eggs.
He did, yeah. And it actually makes a lot of sense when you consider the energy burn. He explained that the sheer effort involved in training, and he specifically mentioned that wing walking stunt.
Oh yeah, the one from the trailers. Looks terrifying.
Exactly. That plus filming at high altitudes, often in the cold. His body is just constantly churning through energy.
Right, just to stay warm and functional even before the stunts.
Precisely. So that high caloric intake, particularly from fat and protein, is probably essential.
That makes sense. It lines up with, basic physiology in extreme conditions.
It does. When you're doing that level of intense physical work, you're burning through glycogen like nobody's business.
So you need carbs, fats, protein, well, lots of it.
Exactly, to refuel, repair muscle. And the high fat content, like in a full English, would give that sort of sustained energy release, crucial for long filming days.
It's interesting, though, because you mentioned it seems counterintuitive, but he's apparently not alone in this high egg strategy for big physical roles.
Nope.
Yeah, the articles point out other actors like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Mark Wahlberg. They've also talked about eating loads of eggs for certain roles.
Ah, okay. That adds some context then.
Wahlberg apparently had a dozen eggs a day for Father Stew.
A dozen a day. Wow.
And The Rock reportedly has like 12 whole eggs plus 8 egg whites as just one post-workout meal.
Okay, so Cruise's intake, while maybe surprising at first glance, isn't completely out there in the world of, let's say, extreme body transformation or preparation for roles.
Seems like it. Eggs are packed with protein, right? Good for muscle.
Very good. Highly bioavailable protein, essential amino acids, all the stuff you need for muscle repair and growth. So it looks like these actors are just tapping into that, but on a massive scale to meet some pretty extreme demands.
And the English breakfast specifically.
Mm-hmm.
There might be another angle, too. Cruise has a real connection to the UK, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. It's a good point.
Both articles mention it. He's filmed a lot of Mission Impossible over there, owns property in London.
Right. He spends a lot of time there.
So maybe he's just genuinely developed a taste for a proper full English. It sort of fits.
That cultural connection is definitely interesting. Food isn't just fuel, is it?
No, absolutely not.
There's comfort, familiarity. If he feels an affinity for the UK, it makes sense that he might gravitate towards its signature breakfast, especially during intense filming blocks there.
Speaking of London, the articles also mention he was just there, like over the weekend before the articles came out.
Oh, yeah. Doing what?
He was at David Beckham's 50th birthday party. Pretty fancy bash at a Michelin-starred place in Notting Hill Core.
Okay, mingling with the celebs.
Yeah, but here's a little tidbit the papers picked up on. He apparently arrived solo, but was seen leaving in the wee hours with Ana de Armas.
Oh, interesting.
And they were apparently trying to be low-key, hiding under umbrellas on the way out.
Huh. Well, that adds a bit of human interest, doesn't it?
Definitely. A little peek behind the curtain. Shows even action heroes have, social lives and things going on off camera.
True. Even when you're pushing physical limits for work?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But let's swing back to those limits, the stunts themselves. Because the hype for this next film, the 8th one, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, it's really building.
Understandably so.
The trailer alone, I mean, seriously, breathtaking stuff. That shot of him on the wings of that old biplane,
The 1940s one, yeah. Midair.
traveling at, over 120 miles per hour? It's just nuts.
It really is. The sheer audacity is kind of the Mission Impossible brand now, isn't it?
Totally. It's gone beyond just standard action movie stuff.
It feels like it's about genuinely pushing the boundaries of what's possible physically. And Cruise is famous for insisting on doing it himself.
He actually said, according to the articles, that wing walking was like a childhood dream of his.
Wow.
And actually doing it was, predictably intense, you can only imagine.
I really can't, actually.
And it's not just him risking his neck. The director, Christopher McQuarrie, apparently said Cruise is basically a one-man film crew up there.
What do you mean?
Like, he's operating the camera, acting, and flying the plane, or at least involved heavily.
That's an incredible level of multitasking and responsibility.
Right. Even his co-star, Simon Pegg, who's seen plenty of action himself,
Yeah.
he apparently called Cruise absolutely nuts. But you could tell it was with, total admiration for his dedication.
You have to admire that level of commitment, even if it seems crazy. It's not just doing the stunt, it's being involved in every single part of capturing it.
Yeah, total immersion.
Even when it involves massive personal risk.
And there's another detail in the article, it's kind of a touching one.
Oh, yeah?
Apparently, before his mother passed away, back in 2017, he showed her some footage of the wing walking stunt.
Right.
But he didn't tell her he was planning to actually do it himself for the movie. Kept that part quiet.
Ah, that adds another layer, doesn't it? A personal connection to these huge, risky feats.
Yeah, like wanting to share the achievement, maybe, but not the worry.
Perhaps. It definitely adds some emotional depth to the whole endeavor.
So, looking ahead then, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. It's being billed as his farewell to Ethan Hunt.
The end of an era, potentially.
Yeah. It's hitting UK cinemas May 23rd, 2025. And actually, he was just in Korea promoting it yesterday, the 8th.
Ah, okay. Big global push.
Apparently, it was his 12th visit to South Korea. And he sounded really enthusiastic at the press conference, saying it was always his dream to, share his movies with the fans there.
That global reach is huge for these films, isn't it? And for him as a star.
Definitely. Shows his commitment to connecting with audiences everywhere.
And the plot for this final outing, what's Ethan up against this time?
Sounds like a big one. He's facing some kind of cyber weapon called the Entity.
Ooh, timely. AI threats and all that.
Exactly. And classic Mission Impossible, there's betrayal involved somewhere within his own team.
Always got to have that internal conflict, the trust issues. Adds that personal stake.
Totally. Sounds like a classic setup, but maybe on an even bigger, more tech-focused scale for the finale.
Yeah, mixing the physical dangers with those more modern, intangible threats.
So let's just quickly recap what we've dug into here. Basically, Tom Cruise is powering these mind-blowing stunts with, surprisingly, huge English breakfasts.
Yeah, underlining the incredible energy demands of what he does.
And this choice seems kind of linked to his lifestyle, his time in the UK, maybe a fondness for the culture.
And ultimately, his absolute dedication to delivering those signature Mission Impossible action sequences.
So for you listening, the big takeaway might be just how drastically your body's energy needs can change based on what you're asking it to do.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We often have these ideas about what elite performers eat, right? Usually super clean or restrictive.
Yeah.
And Cruise's approach here, well, it kind of challenges those assumptions, doesn't it?
It really does. It makes you think. If a meal that seems, on the surface, pretty straightforward, albeit massive, can fuel these incredible physical feats, what other unexpected things might be playing a role in peak human performance, physically and mentally?
That's a great question. Beyond just diet and training, what else contributes to someone operating at that absolute limit?
It's definitely something to chew on long after this deep dive is over.